Well, good morning as we're sitting here at LTV on this beautiful Monday, March 25th, year 2024, here with the Hello Hello Show. And to the Jewish community that celebrates Purim, say a happy Purim. And also, of course, we're here with the uh, continuing a tradition of public access that actually is um, effective throughout the communities of the United States of America. And here we cannot ignore the contribution by Fraser Dougherty, of course, a huge group of people behind him, but Francis and that were like kind of pioneers in the forming this concept here at the east end of Long Island. And maybe Esli Escobar and Jody Gambino will be joining me shortly, and maybe we can kind of chat a little bit through the motions of LTV and so let me just see. I'm gonna do just one more little thing here. I think that's better. I love this slave library here and everything. Uh, it, of course, the artistic creativity, activity, evolutionary process that's forming as we speak is what's taking place here at LTV as we kind of revive the tradition of group art shows through the corridors of LTV and manage to portray a lot of local artists and then some. So that's something that's really thriving here at LTV, in addition to many other musical activities, theatrical activities, and just straightforward producers who want to have their voices heard, and that's always a good thing. So that's what's taking place here 24/7, and I'm into that concept, and within that concept, and alongside this concept, and like a one-faced character profile attitude in that ongoingly uh, rhythm that creates the motion and that creates movement. And when you're an artist of any sort, really, if you had that desire to write a poem, if you, or play a musical instrument in your own behalf, so adapting any style really you want to adapt to it. Like I was like at the age of 18, I was more like I don't know. Suddenly I had like a premonition. What's going to happen in 30 years from now? Let's say I want to be a drummer. It was incredible. It was like all my life. It was to be even more than just all my life. It would take over. It would take control. But I think I was one of the lucky ones that I saw within these flashes of pictures and scenarios of the future that's suddenly showing their faces in the present. It revealed also some facts that maybe even by using common sense here on planet Earth, I can figure out the lameness of mediocrity and the pain involved with the disability to achieve greatness. Something like that, something awful. Emotionally awful. Yeah. I don't envy, for example, Sigmund Freud when he was like going through the roughness of faith, trying to figure out all this garbage of the soul and the mind and the psyche that infests an individual, and maybe is a portrayal of how the world is and what the world is or isn't all about. Just in some intense stuff. So maybe I was the lucky one. Suddenly I saw that and I said, well, I don't know. I'm kind of aiming. When I was 16, 17, 18, I had kind of aspirations that, I want to be someone who makes a difference, like most of the individuals in the group that I belong to. They all had visions that were realistic. We weren't just like sitting contemplating in and having exactly almost nothing to show for in a process that needs a lot to be able to show for ahead of time. So you can kind of even just have enough confidence in yourself. But so when I saw that, I said, well, you know what? Maybe I can find an alternative way to show the same desires, the same kind of anxiousness, the same emotional rhythm, the same kind of preferences of journeys and directions and styles and affiliations and whatnot. So I I it, I took I assume that I took that which was conceived in coming through as peculiar into being the main force in head spearheading the whenever we kind of bump into some one of those kind of obstacles or slow downers that are pretty rugged, and it's not easy to just make it go away, and so the flow of fresh nutrients uh, to flow through the system and replenish it and make sure that it's still going. So all these technical aspects of that journey don't go away when philosophy kicks in, and like imagination. And I don't know, we need to remember that the imagination is kind of a very emotional device. uh, it has it has potential for melancholia a great deal. I mean, that's how I sense it, and not necessarily sensing it on myself, sensing it from the understanding and relating to the concept itself. So I found out quickly enough that if I can decide something like that, that means I'm actually not uh, necessarily feeling that I'm qualified and ready, but still, I know that by the way, I want the world to accept me, and by the way, the world will realize that he didn't ask for any credentials, and will turn around to ask for him. But you will be absolutely ready because you will be creating so many things so fast, so many meaningful things, so many a variety of meanings and playfulness and sophistication and deep thought and ahead of the moment techniques of thoughts and implementations and, and living through a medium that gives you results instantly. So it's like you can really measure not only your success as much as how much, but what's the characteristics that are developing. Um, so it kind of gives you three layers of suggestions, um, scenarios to proceed. You know, pushing forward, whatever. I don't like to use the word pushing, but just encouraging forward. Um, and it can be planting the words, the words, maybe the short sentences, and 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 being nice about asking for help. To come to a person and say, I know you can put this together for me. I've already done my job, and and uh, I don't want to spoil it by taking it to this next stage, failing to deliver because I'm not qualified, or at least not qualified enough. So you're able to detach it from yourself, your achievements, in order to share it with someone because you need their help to accomplish it. And what is it exactly? This is like maybe somewhat influencing the implications of your sin. You know, if I'm able to describe accurately what it is that I'm trying to convey. When one eye is always on the painting, or one eye is always on the phrases that are already accomplished and being manipulated into becoming poetic sentences on the surface, then you have to really try hard because you have one eye on the situation, even though the other eye that is somewhere else, probably balancing out that which it denies from this side of the equation. So it all evens out at the end. But the to your astonishment, to my astonishment, I always find out that at the end of the day, it feels the same if I was to check the data of the day and especially when it comes to the creativity and artistic desires and tendencies in my life, it would be like a no-brainer. It would be on high alert all the time. Um, but it's actually elevating uh, uh, the probability of experiencing weakness of some sort, and that robs you from some kind of a crucial achievements that brought you to a point where you can really think um, in ways that are closer to the concept of how you see life, how you see uh, the 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 understanding behind uh, well, that the way that you would choose to describe to describe what is the nature of the eternal force is all about. Very strange it would be to hear it from you uh, because you um, um, may be too strong, even the territory of the giants and those and every sort of giants are related to some kind of I don't know, some kinds of imaginary steps, even though uh, uh, vast amount of available space. It's like it's sometimes how I envision the studio that I would have loved to find myself in, and I always realize that it's the combination of in close to 30 years of creating a it's just a combination of a bit of everything altogether. Um, yeah, it's yeah, I guess so. It's like uh, speaking of one eye on the ball. Sometimes you have to really be on the alert and kind of think, allow yourself at least 50% of that whole happening to be venturing elsewhere, and that maybe increases your probability of yeah, first survival because being and well, I hate to say survival, maybe just kind of making it happen type of thing, and and we and to be aware that we belong to many groups that we're not even aware that we are part of them. When you speak in that language, when when uh, diligent diligent di- diligently diligently uh, almost borderline unknowingly made that happen, accumulate and add these layers that become the fabric of the story that is being told to be continue to be told, and the relationship between that and maybe the potential mutual interests of the past and the present facing each other independently on their own behalf each, and they would have no problems going microscopically if was needed and still manage to weigh and measure the extent of those supposedly random swirls and configuration of nerve endings that are at their last seconds of uh, uh, factionality worthy, function worthy. And of course, since the other half the other eye, the other eye is overlooking the other half, and in the other half, there's suddenly a consensus that we're going to work together within the half, the completeness of the half. We're going to work together. We're going to try and maintain that which we don't think that we need to worry about regarding that maintenance, being more of a kind of embedded in that surety, and um, and the results are not only impressive, but I would say overwhelmingly challenging, maybe because you you stare at that replica of the collage of the composition that you intentionally planted, and it had embedded with a composition that out of one out of many that are just randomly forming around the clock. And you really try as hard as you can. I try as hard as you can. Try to avoid to clash into any of them because it will be so much time more to spend trying to clean and clear the system. So, in terms of energy, in terms of actual smooth passage, uh, it by which anything that is wished to happen in the future will have greater chances to prevail in achieving that. Um, the whole issue of achievements and how one feels about being unique in a way that maybe is he or she or just one of few that make it their business to decide certain things that happens to be important to to uh, to many, and just the whole idea that this what accompanies it is definitely an incredible palette of a mix of culture with avant-garde snobism, and this reflection is luckily uh, compensates for any identification of a scenario that might slow down this or serve as a potential obstacle or or anything of sort that is other than um, just a regular day in the office kind of thing. So the eye is the eye, the eye, and for that sake would be probably the left one, is resting assured in that zone where space is available, and that makes it a recurring uh, 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 scene. The kind of unlimited, unconditional availability to have that loop at your disposal, where you find maybe trivial, maybe solace, maybe just like self-forgiving, maybe like um, maybe self-exploration, maybe just coming to terms, and maybe even if the need is not like so urgent, still nevertheless might as well do it because you already had it anyway to begin with, so to speak. Self-convincing in matters that makes it casual, but in matters that are extremely important. So sometimes it's like hitting the first prize of the greatest whatever, and that you realize that maybe salvation doesn't necessarily require saints and fables and super emotional religious heroes or some kind of conquerors that did things in the name of some whatever, what confusion, complications. That's in short. But Early on, we taught you how to keep to yourself and how important it is to be able to keep to yourself. If and when you decide you want to keep to yourself, and you're keeping to yourself, also real reasons of why you want to keep to yourself and keep it from, therefore, people who, and also those who would really want to know what it is that you keep from yourself. But the greater the desire by demons to invade your privacy, the more fortified the surface becomes against any potential kind of at, attempts of penetration, so to speak, for lack of a technical definition, which probably would mean um, um, eh, it's like a shaving process, you know. It actually also goes deep into the clarity of a surface that maybe wants to take it easy for a little while because it's always in motion in living the necessity for loyalty and being on alertness, you know. It's like a curse in some scenarios, you know. So but the other eye goes, the right one goes to the other half, and it's like okay, so it's the left eye uh, just, you know, allow the 15 to 20-minute window of opportunity for the other eye to go, not to go, but the mind would just shift, is allowed to shift to that. Okay, now we're here. What does it mean? And it's more kind of high powered. It's like you defense mechanism of your immune system. You know, it is the epitome of defense mechanism, and then it's really want without knowing any of it. But it's designed to take the spirit and the emotion and then just the blood flow and the energy and the body heat, everything all together into and into what it really means, you know. So you you go through the motions because you're latching onto that whatever that thing, that island, that home, that planet, that wherever you want to think, to believe, to know that you are or not, it doesn't matter. You will be there anyway. In any case, to go through the storm and through the, you know, you'll be a witness. You have nowhere to go except through whatever it is that's coming kind of head on into the. But it so happens that when suddenly there's a flood and you're underwater, you can kind of survive for a while because you did the right thing more than once, you know, more often than not. And in the silence of supposedly just about to suffocate, which doesn't materialize to become as such, or so much, or then it's now become a worthy potential drilling gently and philosophically and intelligently uh, carvings that will puzzle the process that we think is going too fast anyway, and therefore slow it down without giving any suggestions that there was a desire or preference for this vessel to slow down, if you know what I mean. And it's it's been taken through the mirror of well of training par excellence kind of thing, you know, at the early days of new understanding that came to the surface of things that you always thought that you know, and nothing is, you always thought that your life is kind of open, at least for you to have access to your life, and you won't have a hard time figuring out where you stand, what's going on. So in that sense, I I developed a relationship with that so much so that I started kind of forming a savings account of achievements that I thought that I'm entitled to, whatever it is that was due to that achievement. And I managed to maybe convince the system that I need to be compensated every time something like that is taking place. I maintained a rationale that was accepted by the system, and therefore it meant that I'm uh, I'm getting paid for it or something like that. This is like this is like an incredible scenario of, like, let's say, I don't know what would it be like two 2000 170 kind of thing. So you're talking about maybe 148 years from now. But do you think that the concept, well, I'm asking myself kind of thing, the concept uh, of maybe that maybe that you want to create a loop that you will have the ability to make it cave into itself if you wished for that to happen, which is important to have that. And while that is taking place in the left eye, the right eye is really on it. Where is it? Where is it? It's on the process of non-wavering level of commitment and desire to fully engage, and not necessarily claiming that we always know the reason of why things happen the way they do or make us feel the way they make us feel, and so much more. It's just like it's a lot of the process one needs to learn how to just accept it for what it is and begin as soon as possible to take advantage of that. Like I was talking about my friends, Jody Gambino just entered the room and you saved me from myself. So in that sense, that loop was actually helping it cave into itself, and therefore actually give birth to make the journey a little kind of.
Are you talking about Star Wars?
Friendlier? Yeah, that was good. That was very good. No, I was talking about how the two eyes, one eye would be on, constant creation, like you're doing videos and painting paintings and doing all these fun artistic processes. And then the left eye is more like um, what's going on, any threats from the outside, any threats from the inside, am I sitting okay, is the hole covered even though my eye is only 50%, how do I achieve preferences, whatever this. So the nature of this against the nature of this, or alongside, and then I lost myself and came back again.
Nice.
Then I emptied all the meaning altogether, and then suddenly I found myself completely at the mercy of the process,
Oh yeah. Well, we're cleaning up from the process of Printaganza.
Yeah, and then I was very amazed because I had the chance to go there for a couple of minutes while it was happening. It was really serious.
Yeah, everyone was really into it.
I wasn't sure that I'd be able to do it because you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
But I commend Dan Weldon for his. He makes things happen, I think.
Yeah, totally. I told my mom what was going on about the workshop with Dan Weldon, and she goes, "He's the best."
Oh,
yeah, okay, yeah.
I love it.
You know him so good.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And he's going up to Woodstock to do something similar.
Oh yeah.
And we have a place in Woodstock, so I'm thinking about going up there.
Oh, fantastic!
Observing him for a few more days.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
the place in Woodstock.
Yeah.
Out of all the places in the world,
I was like, oh wow. Yeah, we just got our house back up there, so
fantastic.
Yeah, it's a cool town. I love it there.
Yeah. I've never been there, so
oh, it's awesome.
Yeah. Oh my god,
little mountain town.
So what is it in the face of the 60s and 70s and all the big concerts that really triggered the entire world to think differently.
Right. Like, I mean, they definitely like capitalize off that. Like every store you walk into, it's Hendrix and Janis Joplin and Woodstock posters
Still,
and
huh?
memorabilia. Every store.
I
Oh my
love it.
God. It's so crazy. But there's also like, you see like some cool concert posters and uh, stuff I always want to buy stuff when I'm there. I'm like, oh man, like, saw this Radiohead concert poster last time I was there. It's
Yeah.
like, that's damn cool. The
So,
record store. Went to the record store last time.
so your art and in the face of your music in the face of your art. So where do we stand today?
I got a show coming up at the Liqueur Gallery,
Awesome.
so I'm kind of trying to pick the best of work from the past, 3 to 5 years,
Fantastic.
and trying to get some cohesion between all the pieces.
Do you have the dates already?
Yeah, I have it on my phone. Let's see. I know the drop off is April 3rd, but
So probably April 6th is the opening.
yeah, it's like right around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so yeah, I mean this is exciting. I think this exposure would really do you some good. It's especially with Chris Licor. He's uh, he's really
Yeah,
managing to
he's
bring
super talented,
artists together. Huh? The way he does
and I
it.
like his style. It looks
Amazing.
very not typical. Okay, so what is the date on this? No, it's the end of April. The reception is April 13th, 5 to 8 p.m. in Montauk, 87 South Euclid Avenue. And the works will be on display April 4th to April 23rd.
I love it.
So all month. It's going to be Candace Seslow, myself, Chris Licor, Alana Rogers, Liz Sloan, who's in the
Yes.
show here, Aislinn Weinberg, and Ryan Zwick. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And I noticed that first of all, thank you for the that 1 minute high powered. I
Oh,
felt like
yeah. We shot, I mean, we shot that obviously at
yeah,
your
yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it was
And
like
then,
very uh, makes you happy.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
that's all I
totally.
can say. But the nature of your music, how do you manage to be so serious with music when you're actually really not all of yourself so much into it, or at least hands
Like,
on every day, or but you still
well,
you have that kind of natural attitude concerning that.
I mean, I've been trying to just like reach consistency,
Yeah,
and I only really like making music at night. So the daytime, whatever can happen, can happen.
yeah.
And then once it gets nightfall, then it's like music time. Absolutely.
A lot of yearning in your music,
Yeah,
it's like kind
totally.
of I love that. It's the
Yeah,
suspense,
yeah.
of a different kind, but it's there, and I see it in your work also. Now and then you allow yourself to, you know, go astray for a little while, and then kind
Right,
of stop and reflect, and maybe even come back, and but be hands on throughout the process. You always leave marks
right.
as you
Totally.
whichever direction you turn.
Yep, yep.
So any other than this show, like maybe things that are related to LTV that you want to share, and any
Yeah, I mean, we're doing the hangar. The next one's gonna be Memorial Day, I believe,
wow,
May. So it's coming up quick. We just had one, and that was my first experience DJing off records, all vinyl, no computers or no
amazing.
trigger pads. So it's a different beast. But
Yeah.
I have enough records, luckily, to keep it going through the night. So
Yes, that's good.
we've been doing, half the DJs been playing records, and the other half have been doing
Doing the
MP3s and WAV
yes.
files and all
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it's good. And we got a couple other things, like we're doing a documentary about black bears in
Uh-huh.
New Jersey.
Love it.
Um, so we need a little more planning on that, but we haven't started filming quite yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Chris Licor show. I got 3 albums I'm trying to come out with before the summer.
I love it.
So they're all slightly a little different. One's
Yeah.
instrumental hip hop. One is I kind of create more of a character that I'm like an embellished personality
Yeah,
that I'm kind of bringing forward, and the other one is more like rock and roll.
that's
And
fantastic.
they're all short. They're all EPs or
Yeah,
LPs,
yeah.
about
What you
half hour.
sent me was very. It was last year. Remember, you sent me
Oh
that. It
yeah,
was sweet, sweet as can
I
be.
forget
Really.
which one I sent you.
Whatever it was sweet. It was
Yeah,
like made
yeah,
me feel like okay. You surprised me. I like being surprised. So
yeah,
that's a good
yeah.
thing. So well, other than that, poetry.
I
Any,
haven't written any poem. I've been trying to write some lyrics though for songs, which is similar, but it's kind of a
I wanna.
different
If
beast.
you're already here, I'll let you this one. Uh, in the fertile soul. Look at this.
Okay. In the fertile soul of life, where roots grasp firm, no longer enslaved to the beckoning intrigue, nourished episodes unfold, no friction to harm. A leap towards the horizon where dreams intrigue. Speak, O surround sound, with voices so clear, appealing senses like a symphony divine. In the sprouting of joy, let hearts draw near, erupting with life's melody in a dance sublime. Touch, touch softly graze through unity's element. In crescendo of existence, a slam dunk at last. Merge with with the rhythm in a cosmic testament to the harmony of souls where all shadows are cast.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah.
But why don't you write music to it?
I was actually thinking that
Yeah,
when I was
I'll
reading it.
text it to you.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe yeah, I would love to hear someone rapping some music around my.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for reading it. That's man, you just took it and read it.
Yeah, yeah.
Not easy.
Yeah, no, I like trying to develop the kind of rhythm.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
some of the music I've been making could be like poetry. I do a lot of talking over it.
yeah. But isn't it true that like okay, I really relate to you as a poet, which I don't relate to anyone, just anyone as a poet, and you're a poet.
Right, right.
It doesn't matter how much you write. Is the attitude is there? You know, it comes from a source that can only come from a source of a person that feels and thinks too, at least to a certain degree, this way.
Uh-huh.
And so you're already pre-qualified, kind of thing. But if you think about it, yeah, I think that poetry is what helps us feel like the landlords of the situation when
Uh-huh.
it comes to, especially when you do art and music and when you write poetry. Poetry serves as a like the royal watchdogs.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean, of the other dimensions of creativity.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I can see that with you that you actually have you're so laid back because you have that knowledge about yourself that you kind of maybe even first and foremost a poet, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, when I have nothing, that's the only medium that's like so simple,
Pick up a
just need a
pen.
pen and pencil and paper, or nowadays just your notes app on your cell phone, whichever you prefer. But yeah, it's like I mean I always regarded like stand up comedy and like poetry as like some of the most pure forms of art because you don't have any equipment. It's just your thoughts and your voice if you're doing stand up comedy. And poetry is kind of similar because it's just so stripped down.
Yeah,
It's
but
nothing.
it always leaves room to surprise.
It does,
I
yeah.
mean, even if you try as hard as possible to be lame, you will fail
Right,
because
right.
it's kind of at the end of the day will sound too whimsical to be morbid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
My brother used to take me to this really cool poetry event in Colorado in Boulder, and it was called he lived on Grove Street,
uh,
and it was called Groovin' on the Grove or something.
yeah,
And it was a big poetry slam that all these kids in Colorado would do. And they would have music too, but it was in between poets.
yeah,
They would do 5 poets, and then one person would play banjo, and then
yeah.
another 5 poets, and then It was really cool. I mean, I don't see too much of that stuff out here.
Yeah, yeah. It used to be more, you
Yeah, I
know.
mean, you threw the poetry event, and it's pretty much just us, but
Yeah,
we got a good recording out of it,
yeah,
and so
definitely,
it's
and it never stops. It's
yeah,
always good.
yeah,
There's no reason for it to stop. But I think that that's a advantage of feeling that extra feeling of I'm in command of the situation, so to speak. Not that we are control freaks. It's
uh-huh,
just, you know what I mean. It's nice to be ahead sometimes, and this definitely helps to be ahead, especially if you so feels you're so burdened to look for subject matters and justifications for why we create and all this. It robs us of time that's essential for us to actually be work. You know, do the work while we. You cannot not be able to do the work while you're worrying about everything else.
right,
You have to do it while you're doing that. You cannot create enough space before you enter and start create. We know that.
uh-huh,
So so we try to kind of feel and look and behave normal while we're going through the most incredible emotional turbulences constantly.
right, yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I do, yeah,
Who
yeah,
cares anyway? Let's ask ourselves. Yeah, okay. Listen, if you're not going to feel good now, it will concern me. If you'll be happy, it will make me happy. But just in general, the world and us and the world, who really cares? So okay, so you let's say you spilled your heart, you said everything you can say, and then you feel empty, and then you feel full again, and then back and forth, and you look around and you see nobody even heard you.
yeah. I
Forget
mean,
about reacting.
that does
They
that.
weren't even aware that this took place. The poor thing, you like completely went from 0 to 100, from 100 to 0. Nobody even realized you did that.
Yeah, it can happen.
You know, and then, so you lose faith in humanity or whatever. I'm a little
Right, right.
dramatic, but you know what I mean, the type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I feel that instead of you saying I lose faith in humanity, you actually go into the studio and letting it have it.
Right. Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah, yeah.
And you prevail, and people will say, "Wow, did you see? Did you notice what he did? Got fed up, and he did the right thing after he got fed up."
Right. You put all your focus into one pinpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you came back around, you never bothered to tell people how come everything is so cool and dandy. It
Yeah.
just
Well, I
is.
mean, like, yeah, sadness in music and art is way easier to convey than happiness. It's
Yeah,
kind of hard to write a happy song, although Bob Marley wrote a few of them. But
yeah,
I,
yeah. Maybe execute it in a happy demeanor.
yeah,
Write it morbidly, but execute it
well,
cheerfully.
that's a good thing too. I think to have kind of happy music, but if you listen deeper to the message, it's a serious
It
message.
lends itself to you, and then it's a no-brainer. It's just a loop of goodness.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think so.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
totally.
but we feel strange if we feel good, especially too good. You know, like
Right.
something would be like, wait a second, is what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I
We
experienced
feel like we're
that.
not in control.
I
You know.
suffered with bipolar disorder
Hmm.
pretty much my whole life, and I didn't know that's what I was suffering from until they got me on the right set of
Yeah.
medications. I started feeling really happy, but that wasn't until I was in my early 20s,
Yeah.
and then I was like, "Wow, this is a new feeling." Like
Yeah.
I was very depressed as a kid.
But on both scenarios, you will always have to be aware of your personality, of your mind, to a certain degree.
Of
That,
your
that
mood,
Jody would
yeah,
know who Jody is for whatever it means.
right,
So when you're in sync, then you can benefit from whatever help we get from the future or from whatever, like
right,
you
right.
say, planned or unplanned. Um, and again, you need to learn slowly but surely what it's even with art. I mean, if I would have known just a little bit of what I know now in terms of, and that has nothing to do with art. It's just life, values, concept, trust, this and
Mhm.
that. All these things were so important long before you even hold a
Right,
brush or you know what I mean.
totally.
You're just full of desire, and you think this is good enough to start this way,
Mhm.
and kind of so. I don't know. I wish someone would say can whisper to in my ear and say, "I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Just stay on this side. Go, go, go.
Right.
I'll catch up with you later. I'll explain later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of thing, you know what I mean? And you make just kind of, even instinctively, we don't listen to our instincts enough when it says, you should know better, while it's
Right.
happening and you can still avoid.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And
Yeah.
but still, if the canvas is there staring us in the face, we will not be able to ignore it.
Hmm.
The more we try to ignore it, the more kind of punishing it will be.
Right. Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. So no matter what, we need to feed it. While on so many turbulences and emotions happening elsewhere, it's all got to be maintained as much as one can afford oneself to.
Yeah. Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
But how do
Yeah.
you teach that?
I don't know. I think a lot of people, they want to wait for this perfect time in their life to create, and they want everything to be settled, and they want a clear space to have this grand ambition to make something. And I've come to realize it just doesn't work that way. You have to chip away every day. And unless you're doing that, like, you're not going to be able to fit it into your life, because so much stuff does happen every day that I feel like you have to put it into your pattern in order for it to seem normal. Like, so whatever mood you're in or whatever happens, it's kind of like your safe space to retreat to, and to just take those emotions and put them, do the opposite, just put them on the canvas or wherever.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and find a way to be able to repeat it. You know, because you want.
Right.
It's like the evolutionary process will take place for the sake of accumulating credits. You know, so it's like a phase we have to go through, but at the end we have to show up that we passed. You know, that we have the right amount, if not more. The last thing we need is to suddenly, you know, we're almost there, and the cop stops us and said, "Well, you did 56 in the 55."
Yeah.
I said, "You're done.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
we're done with you." You know what I mean? Not like here's the ticket. No, you're done. You're
Yeah.
gonna disappear from the scene. You
Yep.
know, things like crucial like this. So you take it like in this sense, and then you kind of make sure that, you know what, okay, I don't want to build up so much tension towards this imaginable doomsday scenario kind of thing. You know, my art. Well, I already put enough money in this account. It can cover me for the next 10 years. The system knows what to do for my own sake.
Right.
Enough. I mean, you know, thinking like outside the box, we are creating the box, making ourselves familiar with the box fully, and then we pretend that we don't know the nature of the box, and we're looking for ways to think outside of the box that we
Right.
created.
Yeah, yeah. I'll so often like find myself questioning myself and be like, can I do this? And it's like, no, no, that's silly or stupid. And it's like, wait, you just thought of it. There's no one saying you can't do that. So just go, just execute it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let that weird humor come to the surface. Why should we prevent
That's what
from?
I'm trying to put more humor in the music,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that's what is lacking, I feel. It's like so serious. And I miss the days when bands were funny,
yeah.
and there's like punk bands and joke bands, and
I grew up worshiping Uriah Heep.
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know who. Yeah.
Forget about it. You didn't exist. Only 35 years later, you were born.
Right, right. Who's that though?
It's one of the most incredible rock bands of the 60s, 70s, and in Jerusalem, the first collection was Uriah Heep,
Okay.
and the likes of them. Uh, but like, so who's uh, I don't I know many artists. I don't think even one of them would wake up in the morning. Not that I think it's a plus or a minus, just as and say, well, today I think I'm going I'm going to try and think about something that I have in mind, and I'm going to not let it escape the order of the day. You know what I mean? And I will be in the studio, will be in my natural place where I bound to create. So it will I'm hoping it will influence the way I create. And I'm gonna let it flow from here to there, from there to here. I'm gonna follow some kind of a layout of directions. I'm gonna make it simple. And all I need to do is reach the first level of step two. And
Right.
what does that mean on the surface? It means that something awkward happened, unusually, not big, not small, doesn't matter, and then you can have the time to come and examine it and observe what happened. I mean, if you play this game 3 times in 3 different instances, you are considered a pro.
Yeah, you'll have something to show
A
for it at
pro,
the
yeah.
end. Yeah.
Just imagine if you
Yeah.
like self-will it, like really.
I feel like the hardest part is getting started in any project, but some of the most valuable time I'll spend is just thinking about it
Yeah.
until you have it kind of gel in your mind what you really want, and then just go for it. Like,
Did you ever think of approaching a canvas as if you're going from the end to the beginning?
not really.
No,
I
it's
don't
how
paint
possible
and
is it? No, but just let's think about it. Uh,
like you
Forget
think of the
about
result first.
no. Literally, if we were can say, even though we don't want to judge ourselves, we just want to relate to what's been said. Okay, let's try and paint the painting from the end to the beginning, rather than from the beginning to whatever the end will be, the results.
Uh-huh.
And you must know that there is an answer for this, and it's not an answer that says no. So right there, you should engage immediately. You don't even know what the answer is. You're not quite sure about anything, but you know that it's an admission of guilt. Okay, you're in. Once you're in, you know exactly nothing about nothing, but you're walking in a territory that people all their life trying to get to this level.
Uh-huh.
Even if you do nothing in this level, like you would be lost. What the heck? What's these smells? How come it's so loud or whatever?
Yeah.
Colors, this, that. But it's not negative. It's not threatening. So I mean, you would never see a person like that, alternative in the thought and equal in actions. You don't have to bound to. You don't have to show for like, let's say, okay, look how much I created.
Right.
This is not required.
Mm-hmm.
Engagement. So, and I think your generation is doing it, and that's why I'm so surprised when I see your capability, but also your humility. That appeals to me.
Yeah, I mean, you got to stay humble about this stuff,
Yeah,
like, and not to get too attached to anything you make, because it's not you. It's not even. I mean, I guess it's an extension of you, but if you really think about it, it's just a completely different physical object, and that's what my college really taught me how to do, is detach from that stuff and not to get too attached to anything you make or take it too personal if it's criticized.
yeah. So with you, sometimes we have like 5 minutes and we're
Okay.
done. But I think sometimes I feel like with the words are calling you. Like instead of you, I'm trying to imagine you creating by writing, and then it will go to music, and it will go to your art.
Uh-huh.
So where is it coming from? From inside or from the outside coming into you
I
in
don't
order to
know.
be released? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's important to
it's kind of
be
hard
able.
to distinguish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, but you know what I mean? Like, is it hitting something that sends it your way, or is it just like,
A few years ago, I started thinking about that, and I thought, like, what if your brain wasn't like generating thoughts, but it was more just like an antenna, and it was like a receiver for stuff that's just in the ether, and you could like tune, and that's how you find your ideas.
yeah, 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 glide,
Yeah.
the digital glide or something like that. So anyway, so listen, I wanted to mention that Jody Gambino is here with us, giving me the privilege to sit with him and chat. A force to be reckoned with here at LTV. And of course, if you ever make it your business to show up here for any reason whatsoever, most probably you'll bump into him. That's for sure. But
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you for your friendship, and I
Yeah.
also want to thank you for tolerating me being sometimes, to say the least, a little pushy. I apologize
It's okay.
for the remainings of the months of this year
Okay, yeah.
ahead of time, and it's all because of love and dedication to
And
the
the
concept.
passion,
Yeah, and you have it. You're here and you're proving it by the fact that I commend you for that, and I really appreciate it. Um, and and I know that we're going to see each other again here on this stage. That's for
Absolutely.
sure. Thank you so much. We're going to be here tomorrow as much as we were here yesterday and as much as we're here this morning of March 25th, year 2024, here with the Alo Alo Show. And my name is Haim Mizrahi. Again, thank you to my guest, Jody Gambino. We'll see you sooner than later.
Thank you.
Thank you.